Alright, man, I'm guessing most likely you've heard about the law of attraction, as this is one of the most enticing and one of the most popular terms and just overall concepts when it comes to spirituality. But today, we're going to be talking about why you should forget about the law of attraction, the law of assumption, all that stuff, and focus on something much, much deeper. So let's break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. Now, essentially, to break it down, the idea of the law of attraction is something that's really simple, and it can be broken down into karmic laws. And even deeper on that, I made a whole video on the main channel talking about how the law of attraction actually works, how manifestations actually work. And to just simplify it, it's plugging in positive thoughts, positive affirmations, positive overall mental inputs into your mind, into your subconscious mind specifically, which in turn will affect your physical actions. And with those physical actions, they in turn produce positive results. Those positive results, when you look back on them, further affirm those positive thoughts in your mind, those positive affirmations. So it's a positive feedback loop that keeps on feeding itself over and over and over and over again till eventually those manifestations, those physical actions, and those thoughts just keep growing and growing and growing to where you've quote unquote manifested your dream, manifested your vision, manifested whatever the fuck it is that you want. So that's what it is on simple terms. That's how it actually works. It's not just sitting at home, making a vision board, doing all these affirmations, writing out all these affirmations. That's great. That's perfect. But essentially, what you're trying to do is just reprogram your subconscious mind. That's all it is. Because when the mind is directed towards somewhere, the body will follow. And what you want is physical change. You want tangible results, and that is on the physical plane. But the mind obviously is the driver of that, is what actually allows that to happen. Because if your mind is not focused towards those things, it doesn't have a positive outlook on it, it doesn't think it can do it, doesn't matter how much you try working on it, because physically your body's trying to go this way and mentally your mind is trying to go that way. It's just not going to work. You got to have them come together, coincide, and work together as one. But this whole idea of the law of attraction is something that's very botched and just overall twisted by New Age spirituality. What do you know? If you know about my channel, you know my content, you know about the content on the main channel as well, you already know New Age spirituality to me is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of ideas that, yes, have some truth to them, but are packaged in a way for the mainstream masses of people to get into quote unquote spirituality, to get into quote unquote consciousness, to get into quote unquote overall deeper topics. And the law of attraction is the most attractive one. It's the most popular one. Maybe it is why you got into spirituality. Maybe it is the reason of this video showing up on your feed is because the law of attraction is in the title. Maybe you don't even know my content, that's what happened. I don't know, bro, but what I'm saying is that it's very enticing because like you go, oh man, I'm gonna attract a girlfriend. Oh, I'm gonna attract $1 million. Oh, I'm gonna attract my dream life. That's cool and all, but true spirituality, like I've said before on this channel, is not about getting, grabbing, doing all these things. Like it's not about chasing and striving for anything. That's more in the physical, but it's about letting go of the certain things, letting go of certain ideas, letting go of certain desires, letting go of things that are holding you back from actually tapping into your highest self, actually tapping into your true self, the ultimate self, the eternal self. And always chasing after things with this idea of the law of attraction will not only build up more barriers, but it will also keep you in a constant cycle of chasing. And a constant cycle of chasing puts you in a state of lack. And this is where the law of quote unquote assumption comes into play. The law of assumption obviously is now, okay, taking the next degree. I've already completed whatever it is I'm trying to do. I've already done X, Y, and Z. I already made $1 million. You're just gonna putting that into your brain subconsciously to make you think that you've already done it. So eventually the idea, the concept is that you'll do the things that will put you in that position. Well, to me personally, that's a bunch of bullshit again. And yes, there's more deeper insights to it. I'm not gonna get too much into that right now, but you can use it in a proper way to kind of prime your mind to be in those positions, to visualize that pinnacle, that peak that you're trying to work towards. But again, New Age spirituality takes attraction and assumption laws, which have some truth to them. They all have some truth to them, but twist it, botch it up, package it in a way that they can give it to everybody, that they can sell courses, that they can sell consultations, they can do all that stuff, man. That's what New Age spirituality does. And eventually people put it on their Instagram bios, this, that, I'm a chosen one, I'm this, I'm that. Just shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up and listen up what I'm talking about right now. Take all those things, throw it away. Throw it away. There's some truth to it, yes. But you don't need that right now. What you do need is the law of detachment. Let me say that again. What you need is the law of detachment. And this is one of the most influential lessons I've had in my life, because most likely than not, you're a guy watching this, and if there's women watching this, so be it. But I'm talking more to the guys out there. My brand, my mission is mostly to help men out. But if you can get some, pick up what I'm putting down for the women out there, more power to you. Us as men, the masculine drive to want to conquer, to want to gain, to want to attain things is already within us. So you add in the law of attraction, you add in the law of assumption, which kind of botches the real spiritual path down into, okay, if I just think about these things, like, I'm gonna subconscious attract everything, like, that's cool, but you're still chasing after shit, and you're always putting yourself in a state of lack, in a state of I don't have this. Even with the law of assumption, you're still putting yourself in that state, because subconsciously, yes, you might be able to influence your mind, but consciously, you know you're not there. You know you're not at that point. And yes, maybe the timeline will meet up after a certain point, but for the time being, you're not there. And that's totally fine, because with the law of detachment, it's gonna allow you to focus on your goals, but not attached to the goals. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, you dig what I'm saying? You get to focus on your goals, but you're not attached to them. You're not attached to the outcome. You're not attached to the things that come with that goal. You focus on the present, the now, the here, the actions that are gonna help you get to that point. You don't focus on the point. You don't focus on attracting $1 million. You don't focus on attracting your girlfriend. You don't focus on assuming that you already have a girlfriend. You don't focus on assuming that you have $1 million. What you focus on is doing the work. You focus on the path. You focus on the progress. You focus on everything else that doesn't have to do with the goal, and you detach from the goal, and whatever happens, happens. Because we as humans, this is what spiritual knowledge actually teaches you, we as humans know jack shit about anything. Anything. The smartest people in the world don't know shit about how this universe really works. A lot of this stuff that happens is luck, is universal. I don't like to say the word luck actually, but it is luck, but universal or divine guidance and essentially fate. And I will make a video on this channel talking about how free will is not what you think it is. I'm not saying it's not real, but what I'm saying is free will is not what you think it is. You don't have the control over your life that you really think you do. Because there's a divine will in the universe that works regardless if you want it to work that way or not. The sun is gonna come up and come down whether you want it or not. The clouds will come up one day and start raining whether you want it or not. You cannot change certain things. And that's what the law of detachment, and you can essentially say the law of detachment is also another Stoic principle, but where I got it from, where I really kind of internalized it, was through two books in specific. And I'm gonna be breaking down these books into more detail on the Patreon. Make sure you tap into the Patreon if you're interested in this stuff, because I'm dropping all of the sauce there. I'm dropping lectures, I'm dropping exclusive videos. We're doing monthly live calls if you're in the Philosopher Circles tier number 3. So all this stuff is going to be pinned to all this stuff is going to be linked to the pinned comment of this video. If you want to join, become a Patreon, support the boy, support the growth of the channel, support the brand, all that good stuff, while also picking up on certain things that you will not find anywhere else. I guarantee you that. Join up, bro. But I'm going to be breaking down those 2 books, and those 2 books are the Bhagavad Gita, mainly the Bhagavad Gita, which is where I got this from, these understandings, and the Tao Te Ching. Both are, in my eyes, 2 essential books on the spiritual path. 2 essential. Like, there's no way you cannot read them if you're truly serious about developing spiritually. But essentially, I'll just break down the Bhagavad Gita more, but the Tao Te Ching is more of a philosophical. You got to really sit down and break it down word by word, line by line, because it's not a story like the Bhagavad Gita. It's more of a reflection of the universal nature of life. So that's why I'm going to be doing long form lecture format on that book in specific on the Patreon. But the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking to Arjuna. If you know about that, you know what I'm talking about. And he's talking about how the idea of wanting things, the idea of chasing after these things is foolish, because it's impermanent. It's not real. It's not there. It's not going to be there forever. But what you should do is, in the yogic terms, karma yoga, the yoga of work, putting in the work, focus on the work, because those things that you will learn from focusing on the work itself rather than the outcome, the goal, everything like that, detach from that, focus on right here, right now, the goal, the work, is going to give you all these lessons of life, all these different insights, all these different universal downloads, all these different things that are going to help you, essentially, if it's part of your fate, to build up to that goal, that main goal that you're detaching from. It's not about forgetting everything, detaching from the world and just going out and living in a cave, but what it is detaching from the desire, detaching from the craving, detaching from this idea that without that thing, I'm not complete. That's what's so nonsensical about how people describe the law of attraction, describe the law of assumption. You know deep down, regardless if you're subconsciously doing it, consciously doing it, you're trying to reprogram yourself, you know deep down that without that goal, you are incomplete. You are not quote unquote happy. You are not quote unquote fulfilled. You are not like just essentially okay with life. You're so attached to that thing that you're gonna low-key trick your mind to think that you already have it, or low-key trick your mind that it's gonna come to you because you're in a state of lack. You think that that thing will fulfill you, but when you get that thing, and you might get that thing, I hope you do get whatever it is, but you're gonna come back to this video, you're gonna go back to the Bhagavad Gita, you're gonna go back to the Tao Te Ching and understand that getting that thing is gonna put you in the same place that you were before. Still, you're gonna look at something else, next thing, next whatever goal, whatever material desire. You're gonna always be chasing that, and essentially, instead of a positive feedback loop, like I said before, you're gonna go in a negative feedback loop. You're gonna always chase after the next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing. When in reality, you have everything you already need right here, right now. That is what Krishna was teaching Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, understanding that you have all the tools needed to be happy right now, to be fulfilled right now, to be holy and present right now, to be fully immersed into life, rather than once I get that, then I can start living. Once I have that girlfriend, then I can start living. Once I get all this $1 million, then I can start living. But in reality, if it's not the universal will, if it's not the will of God, will of the goddess, will of just the Almighty, you're not gonna get it. And you can work as hard as you want. You can do all these things. And you can trick yourself all into that. And you're gonna put yourself in a position where you're not happy with life if you don't get that. When in reality, if you just detach from that goal, you did the work necessary essentially to get to that goal, but you detach from the outcome. It doesn't matter if you get to that point tomorrow, next year, the year after that, blah, blah, blah. You're just gonna do the work that you feel inclined to do, that you feel a universal pull to, and wherever the universe is going to direct you towards after is where you're going to go. Maybe it is directly to that point. I have no idea. Maybe it's something even beyond that, better than that, which most cases it is. Like I said before, we as humans think we can control everything, that we know where to go, what's best for us. You don't fucking know, bro. You do not know. And as men, it's so hard for us to grasp that, bro. And I know, trust me, I know. I am very driven, very focused, very planned out, very logical. If I don't get to there, I feel like, man, I did not do my work. I won't feel, quote unquote, happy. I won't feel fulfilled. But sometimes it just snaps me back into the law of detachment. I did whatever I could. I can control myself. Wherever the universe brings me, the universe brings me. I can put all this work into these videos, and they might, quote unquote, flop into my eyes, because I think if they don't get X amount of views and get me to X amount of subscribers, then I'm not successful. I haven't done my job. When in reality, these could all be planning out things for my next chapter in life. Maybe it's not YouTube. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it goes into different avenues of life that are even better than just doing this. I have no idea. Of course, I'm going to keep doing this because I feel a universal pull to it. It's not just for a goal, a desire, this and that. Like, I genuinely have a feeling inwardly to do this, to share knowledge, to help raise a collective consciousness of men, of people, of just the overall community to next degrees. And eventually they do that to their communities, and just it keeps rolling over, domino effect. But if you're in that position where you're just trying to force things through the law of attraction, through the law of assumption, and you don't see any results, it's because you need the law of detachment before anything else. Before you even think about the law of attraction, before you even think about the law of assumption, the law of detachment is what's going to give you true peace, true fulfillment, true purpose in your life, because you're not so worried about the outcome. You're worried about the present moment. You're not worried about the present moment. You're in the present moment. Oh shit. See, look, man, I'm still in the present moment. There's a fucking bee swarm going on. All right, man, let's wrap this up quick. But I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's a fucking bee storm out here, bro. Holy shit, man. But yeah, so the law of detachment is what you need before anything else, man. Before anything else. Before I get stung, you need the law of detachment. Please, bro. I'm really out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all a game, even though I might be in danger. And fucking danger. But this is a universal will, and I'm detached, and I'm just gonna keep going about the work, regardless of the outcome is that I end up with 90 stings and suffocate to death, or that this video gets 100K views. I don't know. I'm just here doing my thing. But that is something that really will, once it clicks in your mind, and maybe it clicks right now, maybe it clicks when you read those books, maybe it clicks when you join the Patreon and I break it down even further, but when it really clicks for you about how the law of detachment is the ultimate law, the universal law, the only constant law, because everything is impermanent, attaching yourself to anything, even this idea of me, my goals, my personality, my ideals of life, my everything, my body, my mind, my quote-unquote soul, none of this is permanent. The only thing that's permanent is change, is the universal will, which is always changing, which is always moving, which is always in some sort of constant state of motion. Even though it's still, that stillness causes motion throughout the world. It causes motion throughout your life, causes motion throughout the entire galaxy, whatever you want to call it. So that constant movement is something you cannot control. So why try to force things and bend them to your will when you don't have the reality, when you don't have the uh, the ability to do it. Yes, you have ability to kind of bend rules and bend certain things to your way, but that's only when you flow with life, when you flow with the natural current of the world. Because you can jump into an ocean and there might be a rip current, and if you can fight as hard as you can to try to get out of that, but when you actually let go a little bit and it drifts you out and it brings you out to another section where the rip current ends and you can finally swim out freely, you didn't waste any energy doing that. You didn't waste anything, but you were trying to go this way, this way, this way, this way. Sometimes you just gotta let go. It's gonna pull you to a better direction, and when that better direction hits and you're like, oh shit, why did I just do this in the beginning? Why did I try to force this whole idea of the law of attraction, the law of assumption onto my life to get something that isn't really part of my plan, isn't part of my purpose, when in reality, if I just did the work, controlled what I could, followed my intuition, followed my gut, followed God, I'm in the best position possible. I cannot lose by doing that. There's no winning or losing when it comes to spiritual path, but you cannot be, your expectations cannot be broken because you quote unquote don't have expectations. You're just going about life. You don't have this idea where by next year I need this amount of money. By next year I need this amount of subscribers. By this year I need 10 girlfriends or whatever the fuck. By this year I need 10 pounds of muscle. By next time we go, yes, you need certain those things, certain ideas of life. It's a good way to keep progress, but don't make that the entire mission. Make that a part of your system, but don't make that the goal. Like systemize where, okay, if I go to the gym this week, I'm gonna bench press 200 pounds. Next week, I'm trying to get 210 pounds, but don't make the entire goal to just make, I have to get 5 pounds every single day, every single week before I go. And yes, make the system that, but if it does not quote unquote work, don't make that a failure in life. That's just what it is. Maybe it took you 2 weeks to get to that point, but you saved yourself from an injury by not forcing it. There's so much shit you don't know. And if you try forcing things with this law of attraction, law of assumption, law of absumption, whatever the fuck, it's gonna make you make grandiose expectations for life, and you're gonna feel quote unquote like a failure if you don't live up to them. Set goals, but set them differently is what I'm saying. Set them differently to where you detach from them. Don't make the goal the goal. Make the path, the work the goal, and whatever comes about that is the reward. You're trying to make the goal the everything, the pinnacle to everything. But in reality, you wanted the reward that comes with that goal. $1 million, you get freedom. Well, why can't you could be free in the moment, doing the work, and feel bliss the entire time while you're doing the work and still end up a millionaire, rather than the guy that puts himself through hell because he's attracting the $1 million to him. He's assuming the $1 million to him, and he hasn't got that yet, so he's always just like, damn, is this law of attraction thing working? Is this law of assumption thing working? No, because you don't have the law of detachment to pair along with it. That is the foundation of it. That is the foundation of life for any pursuit, detachment. And it's hard to grasp it. I'm not saying I'm the master of it. I'm not saying that I've got it all figured out, but what I'm saying is I've seen it work in my life more than the law of attraction, more than the law of assumption, more than any affirmation, visualization, anything. Is detaching from the outcomes, detaching from trying to control everything, detaching from this idea that if I don't do X, Y, Z, I'm not gonna get A, B, C. Just detaching from that stuff. And doing this work still, like I wanna make that clear. The law of attraction, sometimes people get to a point where they don't even work and they still think it's gonna attract them. With the law of assumption, same thing. They think they can just not work and it's just gonna assume into their world. Detachment, what Krishna told Arjuna, you still need to do the fucking work, but don't be attached to the outcome. That is what true spiritual knowledge is. Man, that book is fucking amazing, man. Amazing. When I read that shit, bro, I was like, this is something that everybody on the spiritual path needs to get in their mind. Just on any type of path, bro. Self-development, in the mental field, the physical field, your financial field, the spiritual field, the social field. Just do the work in the present moment. Be fully immersed in the present moment. Have that euphoric feeling of just, I am able to do these things. The universe is guiding me to it. I'm going to put in my full time, full effort, full energy right now without letting my direction be pointed towards the outcome. The outcome will become even faster, become even better when I put my full energy, time, effort, attention, all that shit into now, into here, into what I'm doing. Not, okay, if I do this, I'll get that. You're 50-50, maybe even 40-60, 30-70. If I do 30% of this, then I'll get 70% of that. No, bro. You got to put 100 right now so you get 100 whatever it comes down the line, whatever happens. And that, instead of doing the 50-50, like I said, maybe the law of attraction does work for you if you just, oh, if I do this, I'll get that. You might get to that point, but if you did 100 of just being detached, fully in the present moment, working on your craft, you're going to get 100% of that thing, and it's going to be better than doing the 50-50 split. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. Like, bro, it's simple to understand once it clicks, but it's also something you got to remind yourself, remember, and just overall have in the back of your mind while you go throughout your life. Because without that, man, I'm telling you, all this new age bullshit is just going to lead you astray. And one of my quote-unquote goals, even though I'm not attached to it, is to kind of bring back ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge, ancient esoteric information, and kind of wipe out this new age bullshit off the scene. Why is it so popular? Because people want the easy way out. People want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. Let me say that again. People want to hear what they want to hear. They don't always want to hear the truth. But true spirituality is truth. That's all it is, the truth of life. That's all it is, because the truth about life is that the mental isn't permanent, the physical isn't permanent. The only thing that's permanent is the spiritual, the internal self that is connected to everything. And that's what real truth is. And that's what New Age spirituality is taking away people from and kind of masquerading it into spiritual knowledge. When in reality, if you actually tap in deep enough, you'll understand that it's just going to pull you further and further away from the truth and essentially create another quote-unquote matrix, quote-unquote illusion, delusion. That's why they talk about, oh, gotta get out of the matrix, blah, 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 when in reality, they're just plugging into another matrix. Same thing with like guys like Andrew Tate. You get out of the matrix, they'll plug you into another matrix. What true spirituality, ancient knowledge, esoteric knowledge is explains the matrix, but also gives you the tool to not only escape it and not put yourself into another one, but transcend it. Doesn't matter if you escape it, because you're still gonna be physically within it, but transcending it, not letting it affect you, not letting it dictate you while you're still a part of it. That's what I talked about on the 3 states of man. The ultimate man, fuck the way of the superior man. We're talking about the way of the ultimate man. Not trash ass book, but overrated ass book, The Way of the Superior Man. Maybe I'll drop a book called The Way of the Ultimate Man later on and just body that. What the ultimate man does, the ultimate state of man, is be able to be a part of this world, not be attached to this world, and essentially dip into the mental field, dip into the physical field, dip into the spiritual field whenever it's necessary. He's not attached to just the mental, he's not attached to just the physical, and he's not attached to just the spiritual. He is all. He understands that there is no limitations to anything, that he is the mental, physical, and spiritual. There is no difference between any of them. That they're all the same, there's just different degrees, but also that he is encompassing all of them right here, right now, and he gets to choose whenever he wants to turn one on, turn one off. That is the ultimate state of man. And the ultimate state of man is only reached through the law of detachment. The understanding that you have all the things you need right here, right now, to feel fulfilled, to be happy, to be the person that you want to be on the path that you're always meant to be. And you don't need $1 million. You don't need a girlfriend. You don't need 100,000 subscribers. You don't need this job. You don't need this career. You don't need to go to that school. You don't need to be living in this place. You don't need any of that. What you need is right here for you, because this is what fate has brought you towards. Don't try to fight fate. Make it a friend. Make it an ally to enhance your life, to enhance your goals, to enhance anything it is that you put your mind to. Because trying to change fate is what people are trying to do with this whole new age wave, that you can manifest anything you want. You can do, yes, you can, but is it the universal will? Are you going against quote unquote God? Are you going against your own godhood, your own will that you were meant here to do? And you know if you are, because there's so much fucking friction doing that. Even if you trick yourself into believing that it's attracting to you, or you're assuming it into your life, you'll notice there's so much fucking friction. And friction does build up pressure, that builds up diamonds, but you're gonna notice a different type of friction to your life when you try to force things. But when you detach from them, you could be doing the same exact fucking thing and feel no friction and flow through life effortlessly. Flow through life blissfully. Flow through life freely. That's what true spiritual knowledge, true spiritual teachings, true things like the law of detachment, philosophies like the law of detachment bring about to your life. Freedom. And that's what hopefully you gain from this video. Hopefully you gain from my content. Hopefully you gain from all the different things I do, from the Patreon, one-on-one coaching, consultations, all that stuff, man. If you're interested, all that stuff is going to be linked to the pinned comment of this video, like I said before. Hop in the community Discord server. We talk about all these things. That's free, all for the free 99. Because I'm really out here in the field and the flesh, dropping out that game so you guys can make these gains. And I'm out here. Peace.